Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is April 5th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see our upper level trough all the way dug down across California, spinning some moisture back up across Pacific Northwest. Some thunderstorms for eastern Idaho and Montana again today, and some light precipitation making its way across the area. Some lower snow levels out there as well. We'll look at those details as we go through the video and the extended forecast. Taking a look at yesterday, let's scroll all the way back and you can see the thunderstorms and the lightning activity moving across Idaho. Check out this band of storms here. This we went through yesterday afternoon up across Idaho. This continued all the way into the evening and the nighttime and the early morning hours. And we're going to do something similar again today, again, eastern Oregon and Montana. And some of this is spreading back across some of western Washington, eastern Washington, some lower snow levels. We get this very chilly air mass across much of the region. This is Pendleton, Oregon, talking about that late season snow updated this morning here. You can catch people off guard, especially across some of the higher terrain. You can see some of the lower elevations could get an inch or two. We'll look at that here in a moment as well. This is a late week snow. Check it out, Pullman, 1 to 2 inches here. This goes through this morning. So a lot of this is occurring as I'm speaking right now. I mean, nothing major here, but you could see some lower elevation snowfall occurring. But once you get any elevation at all, heads up, you see Winchester here, 3 to 4 inches, and some of the Blue Mountains, some higher amounts as well as portions of Idaho and Montana. And now also, if you're headed out to the coastal areas here this weekend, watch out for the moderate sneaker wave risk. This goes for tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Don't turn your back on the ocean, even though things don't look that active over out across the water there, and you don't see any big waves. These things really can sneak up and run, over 100 yards above the normal wave height here and really bring logs with them as well. So don't turn your back on the ocean. Snow through Sunday. So you can see Idaho and Montana here, mainly above 3,000 feet here, but watch out for the winter driving conditions. Seattle yesterday, look at this, 46 degrees, a full 11 degrees below average. What a chilly day yesterday. 46 and 41 was a low, 900ths of an inch. Just a typical dreary, cold Pacific Northwest day. You can see how we were dealing with some warmer temperatures, and now we've definitely dropped things back down. And we're probably going to bounce back a little bit as we go through this upcoming week here. Now, looking at lightning flash density potential, is kind of showing you where that thunderstorm threat exists today. And some of the models were showing a little bit of lightning potential as we go through Saturday. The European really not showing it. We're going to have an impulse moving in here, which I'll show you more on in a moment. And then maybe Sunday afternoon, who knows, we might get a lightning strike or two here across eastern Oregon or Idaho. Now, if you want a portable home weather station that just happens to have a lightning detection system with it, click on that link down below to save 10%. The smartphone app is great. It stores the data for you in the cloud, all solar powered and wireless, haptic rain gauge, and ultrasonic anemometer. Now, looking at the European, this is last night's run. You can see the cold upper level trough across much of the west coast here. And then we got this system kind of moving in Saturday, you see there. And we start to try to build this ridge a bit. But you can see the troughing is not too far away. But it looks like we may get a few nice days out of this as we go through the mid portion coming up here. However, I'll show you the longer range runs as the troughing kind of wants to play cat and mouse with some of the transient ridging coming across the area. So we still are going to have some systems probably swooping through the region here as we go through mid-April. But right now, it doesn't look too bad for a few days next week, and things can change. So maybe we'll end up getting some nice weather out of this after all. Now, taking a look at the European, and I'll put this into motion, and you can see as we go through the afternoon today where the thunderstorms pop up here and some of this wraparound moisture trying to work its way back into western Washington a bit, eastern Washington and Oregon here also. And then as we go through the day tomorrow, we have that next impulse. It's fairly weak coming across the area. Then we might have some convergent zone activity here across areas north of Seattle, Snohomish County line, King County line up there. You guys know the drill. And then another weak impulse tries to move in here as we go through the early portion of the week. And then we try to build that ridge here. We dry out for a bit, but still British Columbia is likely to be getting some precipitation here. Just on the top side of this ridge as we go on in through the mid to late week period. Now, looking at composite reflectivity, this is what the Doppler radar may look like here as we go through the day today. And you can really see these thunderstorms fire up again, Idaho and Montana, and this wraparound moisture, the spin in the atmosphere as we go. And then the system pushes off to the east as we go through Saturday, tomorrow. And our next impulse starts rolling in here sometime the late morning hours for Seattle and Portland, and a little bit earlier for the coastal areas. Some showery weather there as well. And the European wasn't showing much in the way of lightning activity with that. And then as we go on in through Sunday morning, so some residual showers before the next impulse tries to roll in here. Fairly weak also as we go on into the early portion of next week. This would be Sunday afternoon right here, however. Now, looking at supercell composite, again, just kind of highlighting the fact that you're going to get some thunderstorm activity. There's good instability and good shear kind of combining out here. And some of those storms could be prolific lightning producers. So heads up for that. Now, looking at daily 2-meter max temperature, going to bounce back a little bit here today, at least according to the models. Maybe, still a little below average here, but, not terrible, not 46 degrees like what we had yesterday. And then we go through tomorrow. That next impulse kind of suppresses temperatures here. But as we go through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we start to bounce back a little bit here. You can see the slow, steady climb as we go through Thursday. Then maybe another trough starts to swing through the Pacific Northwest as we go towards next weekend. But we'll watch that and break things down. You can see we might be warming up quite nicely here across some of the region. And total precipitation in inches, we're not looking at a washout really here across much of the area. As you can see, Seattle just drips and drabs here until we go to tomorrow morning. We get a few more hundredths of an inch of rain, and then this next system will be impacting western British Columbia. It looks like as a ridge is trying to build in as we go on into the midweek period coming up here. So you can see we're not looking at huge precipitation amounts, better amounts across the higher terrain, pretty typical there as well. Now, taking a look at total snow in inches, if we put this into motion as we're going through this morning, you can see a little bit of snow for some of the lower elevations. Like we talked about, the National Weather Service said Pullman, maybe 1 to 2 inches there, and that's probably falling as we speak right now. But, not too much for the lower elevations, not a major snowstorm by any means. And you can see some of the snow for the higher terrain, maybe squeezing out an inch or two for the Cascades. And then as we go on in towards next week, we might start to, actually, I think that's the model flopping over there, I believe it is. And we may start to get another system here as we go through the end of next week. But we'll break that down. Don't get too worried about that just yet. And looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, April 10th through 14th, above average signal across much of the west, 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Sorry. Tongue twister there. April 10th through 14th there, below average for much of the west, 8 to 14 day temperature outlook above average. Look at the signal here. So, the Climate Prediction Center kind of calling for above average temperatures here. We'll see how this works out though, because I'll show you the extended forecast here in a moment on European last night's run. So there's the cold upper level trough, Saturday's system, and then we start to build this ridge here as we go on into the midweek period. Nice ridge building there, but it does show these troughs still trying to swing through here. Transient ridges move through. Another trough here, transient ridge, and then a deep trough as we go through about April 16th, 17th. We'll see how that works out. I mean, we're looking way off into fantasy land at this point. Nothing to get too excited about, but that would be a pretty dynamic system right off the west coast of North America. So anyway, eyes on the sky, Idaho and Montana today. And hopefully the day isn't too dreary for you across eastern Washington, western Washington, where some of this moisture is backing up. Then we got another system. You can see it out here across the Pacific Ocean. It's going to be swinging through as we go through the day tomorrow. And then probably one more system before we start to warm up and build that ridge here across the Pacific Northwest. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.